balancing truth, principles, and perspective. This is the Equalizer Podcast.
A curious blend. This is markets hum with life, yet regulations cast long shadows. Prosperity rises, but control, I sense, binds too tightly.
Balance. That word we love to say, but rarely understand. Between chaos and control, liberty and security, there stands mixed market capitalism, America's modern experiment in controlled freedom. Today on The Equalizer, we'll weigh the system that claims to offer the best of both worlds, where markets create prosperity, but governments decide how it's shared. Mixed market capitalism is a compromise, a blend of free enterprise and state intervention. Private ownership remains, but government sets the boundaries through regulation, taxation, and redistribution. It's not socialism, and it's not pure capitalism. It's capitalism with a seatbelt, and sometimes a choke chain. From my perspective, where liberty is the moral high ground, the mixed market model is both pragmatic and perilous. It tempers chaos, but it teaches citizens to trust control. The mixed market system rose from the ashes of the Gilded Age, an era of robber barons, child labor, and economic panic. Progressives saw unregulated capitalism as a monster of its own making. They invoked Marx's language of class struggle, not to abolish capitalism, but to tame it. Leaders like Teddy Roosevelt used crisis as a catalyst, busting trusts, regulating railroads, and preaching morality from the bully pulpit. The intent was reform. The result was a permanent shift of power from citizen to state. The Gilded Age, from the 1870s to the 1890s, monopolies like Standard Oil controlled 90% of their industries. Laborers worked 12 hours a day. Children worked beside them. When the Panic of 1893 hit, 15% of Americans were jobless. Progressives framed capitalism as immoral, a problem only government could solve. Teddy Roosevelt in the progressive era from 1901 to 1912. Teddy Roosevelt was no socialist, but he was no laissez-faire libertarian either. His square deal and new nationalism reimagined government as the moral referee. 44 antitrust suits, a federal income tax, and the creation of the FDA and Commerce Department each expanded federal power in the name of fairness. Teddy did what Marx could not. He made central control popular by calling it patriotism. The legacy from 1913 to today. From the Federal Reserve to Social Security, from the New Deal to the Great Society, each crisis brought a new agency, a new rule, a new tax. Today, America's economy still runs on market energy, but every pulse is monitored by bureaucratic hands. The mixed market system endures because it feels responsible. It promises fairness without revolution, stability without stagnation. But each reform creates dependency. Each crisis justifies another layer of control. It's a feedback loop of good intentions and growing authority. Progressives use moral outrage as their force, not to destroy capitalism, but to rule from within it. John Adams once warned, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people." He meant that freedom demands virtue. Progressives took that truth and twisted it, arguing that if people weren't moral enough to be free, government should force morality on them. That's how a system built for liberty became a system of permissions. You can work, build, and prosper, but only by leave of the state.
A curious blend. This is markets hum with life, yet regulations cast long shadows. Prosperity rises, but control, I sense, binds too tightly.
And so the balance persists. A dance between freedom and fear, prosperity and paternalism. Mixed market capitalism is stable, adaptable, even humane. But the price of that balance is always paid in liberty. Next time on The Equalizer, we'll weigh the final system, enlightened capitalism, the founder's vision of freedom unbound. I'm Evan Queich. Thank you for listening, and may your scale stay true.